All right. Once again, I'm going to have to keep this one short because I have to leave for work in less than 90 minutes, unfortunately. So, yeah, let's just do this thing. Also, again, I'm not going to be able to talk to the chat room very long. I'm sorry, it's just, real life gets in the way sometimes. Anywho, Impact for July the 20th begins with the Super X Cup. Once again, we get the hype videos introducing us to the participants involved. We have one for Sammy Guevara, where he says that he wants to win the Super X Cup tournament and then go for the X Division title. So just like Andrew Everett sees the tournament as a path to the title. But is Sammy Guevara even going to be here after the tournament? It seems like they brought him in just for the tournament, so is he sticking around or not? We don't know. So, good motivation, but does it mean anything? Beats me. But he speaks very well, seemed like a likable guy. Okay. So we get a Drago hype video where he says that he's from an intergalactic universe from another world. Another world where Spanish is the dominant language, strangely enough. So he wants to bring the Triple X Cup, the Super X Cup, to AAA. I wonder why he bothers, since it seems like Impact is bringing AAA to them. More on that later. Anyway, it's a good match. I think the right guy went over with Drago winning. Sammy Guevara did well here. He hit like a really cool looking, I think it was like a twisting 630 splash at one point. Cool move. But Drago seemed like the more seasoned guy. Sammy looked a little bit green still, but, still, good match. As we'd come to expect from these matches by now. So, after this, we move on to Sienna. We had a knockout segment. We got Sienna squashing Amber Nova, and then she proceeds to cut the promo that she should have cut 3 weeks ago, where she finally talks about winning the Knockouts title, how she did exactly what she said she was going to do. When nobody believed in her, she went and did it anyway. She beat Rosemary, won the Knockouts title, and she wants to call out somebody who never believed in her from the start. She wants to call out Karen Jarrett, because fuck knows we can't go too long without Karen Jarrett appearing on this show. So, see, she wants Karen Jarrett to come out there and give her the respect that she's earned. And Karen Jarrett respecting someone. Yeah, I'm not holding my breath on that one. But anyway, Karen does come out. Sienna talks to her, and she tries to intimidate Karen, and of course, before anything can happen to Karen, Allie comes out to attack Sienna with a kendo stick. Kind of strange, since you'd expect Rosemary to be the one to come out, since it's Rosemary's championship that we're talking about here, but no, it's Allie. Well, I guess you can kind of say, well, Allie is probably the next person in line for the title, so yeah, okay. Plus, her and Rosemary, they're aligned. Okay, it sort of makes sense, and Rosemary comes out soon afterward anyway. But still, you kind of expect Rosemary to be out first. It's not really the issue here. So Allie attacks Sienna with a kendo stick, and then LVN comes out, and they get the better of Allie. The heels gang up on Allie, and then Rosemary hits the ring to save Allie. # Team Demon Bunny FTW. But, the heels get the kendo stick, and they get the advantage on Allie and Rosemary, and then, oh boy, here's where it gets frustrating. So then, Karen, yes, Karen, is actually the one who pulls Sienna off of Rosemary. So Rosemary has to be saved by Karen fucking Jarrett. And once again, before Sienna can do anything to Karen, Gail Kim hits the ring, cleans house, takes out all the heels, they start running. And then Karen makes the match for Rosemary and Sienna for last knockout standing for the title next week. Okay. So the story is like this is how they set up, the title rematch of Sienna and Rosemary, but the actual story that I hope you were paying attention to this. The actual story here is that Allie and Rosemary had to be saved from the heels by Gail Kim and Karen Jarrett. Yeah. So the two girls who have been carrying the knockout division for months, arguably easily the two most popular knockouts you have currently, had to be saved by Karen Jarrett and a soon-to-retire Gail Kim. So how long before Gail retires? End of the year? Okay. And Karen? Well, no, she's still married to Jeff Jarrett, so unless they get divorced, we're stuck with her forever. Man, that is a bitter pill to swallow. And I guess I should address something here that Raven Effect said in the HeelCast this week. Most recent episode, you can see it at impactasylum.net. They were talking about Gail's impending retirement, and Raven said that I'm kind of the ringleader of the Gail Kim haters, or something like that, and I'm really not. I'm a fan of Gail Kim, I always have been. I don't hate Gail, I just hate the way she's booked. Because when she's there, it's not the knockout division, it's the Gail Kim show. I criticize because when Gail is there, they push her and focus on her to such an extent that the rest of the knockout division and roster suffers. I mean, look what happened here. They made Allie and Rosemary look bad just so Gail and Karen freaking Jarrett could look good. Doesn't anything about that seem wrong to you? And judging by what I saw here, it looks like we're going right back to Gail being the center of the universe again. I mean, sure, it's great that they're doing Rosemary Sienna Last Knockout Standing. I'm excited to see that match. But it's probably only being done to get Rosemary's title rematch out of the way so the woman who's about to retire can jump ahead of Allie in line and take that spot instead. I mean, look. I respect everything Gail Kim has accomplished, everything that she's done for women in wrestling. It's a lot. It's a hell of a lot. But she doesn't need another title reign. She doesn't. That accomplishes nothing. A lot of people are saying that Gail might win the title from Sienna, but she'll surely put over Rosemary or Allie and let them win the title before she leaves. Really? Is that what she's going to do? I'd like to think that's the case, but again, all due respect, I'll believe it when I see it and not before. Because that doesn't really seem like something they would book, if I'm being brutally honest here. So to be continued on that one. Anyway, we go to LAX's clubhouse, where LAX have kidnapped Alberto El Patron's brother. And they're talking to him, Conan's talking to him, and he wants the brother to tell Alberto El Patron to make the right decision and join LAX. And if he double-crosses them, well, LAX know where he lives. And, yeah, we're going to be coming back to this one periodically throughout the night. And anyway, we go back and we have a Phantasma hype video for the debut of this AAA guy, I think, later in the night, actually. Because we don't have enough AAA people on this show already, right? But at least they're doing something to introduce the guy. It's more than what they did for those two minis that we saw last week. So after this, we have a backstage segment where we see Bruce Pritchard having a chat with Trevor Lee. Now, you might think that this will be where Pritchard, the authority figure, mind you, simply orders Trevor Lee to give the X Division title back to the rightful champion that he stole it from. But no, that's not the case at all. Trevor gives Pritchard some bullshit excuse that Pritchard for some reason accepts because he just doesn't seem to give a shit, or at least that's how it comes across. And then when Sanjay Dutt, the real X Division champion, shows up to get his stolen property back, Pritchard has security remove Sanjay instead of the guy who stole from him. So you have a thief getting off scot-free, still being allowed to parade around with a title belt that he stole, while the babyface who had his belt stolen and has done nothing but try to get it back is being treated like the bad guy. Which makes absolutely no sense whatsoever for a couple of reasons. Now, JB did question Pritchard's actions here in the next segment, so I'm assuming that this is part of a storyline rather than a blatant plot hole. But even if you write off Pritchard's baffling behavior as him just doing a heel turn or something, why the hell are none of the other authority figures doing anything about this? Because the show has like 5 of them right now, and the others are all babyfaces. So why is it that none of them have done a damn thing about this stolen title belt situation? Why are none of them ordering Trevor Lee to return Sanjay's property or questioning Pritchard about why he's allowing this to continue? Are they all turning heel? Or are they all just lazy and stupid? The internal logic of this thing is all screwed up. And it's very troubling to me that on a show that has so few storylines as it is, that one of the few that it does have is being written so poorly. Frankly, this storyline sucks. Remember when this show had no authority figures? That was nice, wasn't it? Good times. Good times. Anywho, we go back to the ring where we have a 6-man tag between Idris Abraham, Deimos, Trevor Lee versus Garza Jr., Laredo Kid, and Octagoncito. God. For a dyslexic person, that name is a bitch to spell and pronounce. Anyway, last week I put forth 3 questions that I was asking myself when Impact put on a random match that had really no reason to be on the show at all. Here, I'm asking those same 3 questions again. Who are these people? Why does this match exist? Why should I care about it? Once again, I cannot come up with a single answer. Because once again, we have a completely random match featuring random people like Deimos and Octagoncito that we haven't been introduced to in any way, shape, or form, who are having a match with no consequence or context for seemingly no reason other than to just fill time. The result being that the match feels like a complete waste of time. Again, I ask, why should I care? Why should anyone care about this match? If you're not going to give your audience some type of reason to be invested in what's happening, then don't be surprised if your audience has 0 interest in this. Just saying. So, after this, well, it's a good news, bad news situation. Good news is it's an actual storyline. Bad news is it's a storyline about Grado. So we get a video package showing footage of Grado's big night on the town with Laurel Van Ness. Grado, being the suave ladies' man that he is, he's going to treat the sexy giraffe to a night on the town with a bunch of coupons that he brought. Yeah. You knew a lot of stuff with those. So they get fast food at McDonald's or Burger King or Wendy's or whatever the fuck they were. So yeah, the story here is that we have Grado and Laurel Van Ness on a date, and Grado is the one who's creeped out. Think about that for a minute. Okay, so... wow. What to say about this? All right. Surprisingly, I'm going to be nice to this one, okay? Because even though this seems tailor-made to piss me off, the performances kind of saved it. Because you have LVN acting all weird as hell, which she's shockingly good at, actually. And all Grado had to do is be weirded out and looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. So, it's not glorifying Grado. It's Grado, more or less Grado just being uncomfortable and embarrassed, which is a lot more palatable than him, I don't know, beating Eli Drake in a cage match or beating Eli Drake in a ladder match. If it's something like this, he's somewhat more tolerable. I just don't know why we're doing this with LVN, of all characters. Again, not that she hasn't been great with it, but I really think it's time to end this whole crazed Bridezilla thing. It looks like they want to get more mileage out of it. I don't know how much more there is. So, I'm tempted to say I kind of liked this. I'm tempted. I'm not actually going there. But I'm a fair person. I'll put over when something is good, and the performances here kind of made this okay. Of course, it doesn't work if LVN isn't acting her ass off and just selling the hell out of this character that really has no reason to be working anymore. But somehow she does it. Anyway, you go back to the LAX clubhouse, where LAX have now captured Alberto El Patron's father. My question is, where the fuck is Patron while this is happening? You think he'd have something to say? You think he'd be on a warpath after they captured his brother? But he's nowhere to be seen. Now they've got his dad, and he's got nothing to say about it? Where the fuck is Patron when all this has been happening? Now, they just reiterate their point. Patron has to join LAX or else. Okay. So, it kind of seems like we could have gotten that all out of the way in one segment with the brother and the father, but whatever. So we go back to the ring, where we have an X Division match, 3-way. I don't think this was for like a number one contendership or anything. No, just a random match with Matt Sydal versus Low Key versus Phantasma. So we're putting Phantasma in this match instead of one of the numerous X Division guys from the actual Impact roster who are just sitting backstage doing nothing. Seems like that's a running theme on this show right now. Can we please cool it with this? More and more, they're letting their actual contracted talent go to waste so they can continue cramming the show full of all these people from AAA and Crash and Noah and wherever the fuck else. And none of them mean anything. None of them have characters or storylines or even a concrete reason to be there. I'm struggling just to remember all their names. It's just like random Japanese guy number 1 having a match for no reason, or a random Mexican guy in a mask number 2 having a title shot for no reason. Meanwhile, EC3 is starting to get lost in the shuffle. Eli Drake is getting a fraction of the mic time he used to get. Half the roster is sitting backstage gathering dust while people from other companies are getting their TV time. Do you see the problem here, Jeff? This isn't interesting. If I want to watch AAA, if I want to see AAA talent, I'll watch AAA. They've got a YouTube channel. They put their shows on there. I can watch it there. I'm watching Impact because I want to see Impact talent. Jesus Christ. So anyway, it's a really good match. There's this one very cool spot where Phantasma has Matt Sydal locked in the surfboard submission hold, and then Low Key goes up top and hits the Warrior's Way on Sydal while he's in the surfboard. It's a really cool spot, actually. But any cool factor this match might have had was immediately dead, when the Brain Trust running the Impact Twitter account tweeted the result of the match before the match finished. They said, "Congratulations to Matt Sydal on winning this match." I'm like, I tweeted them back. I'm like, guys, the match is still going on. There was another 2-3 minutes of the match, and they're already tweeting the result. How does something like that even happen? Are they not watching the fucking show? How did? I'm kind of at a loss. Yeah. Are there going to be consequences for that? Get somebody to run the social media accounts who actually knows what they're doing, who's actually watching the show, so stuff like this doesn't happen, so you don't tweet out the fucking results until after the results happen on the fucking show. Can we replace who's ever doing it now? Because this is the kind of shit that shouldn't be happening. Okay, so anyway, it's a good match, but after they tweeted the result, it's like, who cares? Seidel hits the shooting star press on both guys when Low-Key was pinning Phantasma, so Seidel wins the match predictably because he's probably the next big X Division guy to come up through the ranks. Maybe he should be, I don't know. So anyway, Seidel gets a mic, and he says, the X Division's world class, and there's this big push for the X Division again now. So, it's good to hear stuff like that. Trying to make the X Division relevant again. They need to be saying stuff like that. But he also says this weird line of "trust yourselves and question authority." Okay, when that authority is Bruce Pritchard, that's probably good advice. So he calls out Pritchard. And Seidel is saying indicating that he wants an X Division title shot. And yeah, he's probably the next guy in line. Because it's not like any of the other guys are doing anything. A bunch of them are preoccupied in the Super X Cup, so they're not available. And the others are just, sitting backstage. Seidel's the only one doing anything right now, so he's clearly the next person in line for a title shot. My question is, if he's going to get a title shot in the near future, would he have to challenge Sanjay or Trevor Lee? I'm asking you, Pritchard, seriously, because it seems like there's some confusion there. Anyway, Pritchard says he's sick of people demanding things. Well, I don't see this as much of a demand, seeing as how Seidel is clearly has a case for a title shot. Clearly has a better case than anyone else in the X Division right now, so why shouldn't he get one? But yeah, Pritchard I guess he's doing a heel turn, so he's being an asshole for no reason, apparently, and then Lashley comes out. Strangely enough. So Lashley addresses Pritchard. Seidel isn't happy about that, tries to interrupt Lashley a couple of times. Lashley kind of ignores him. So Lashley wants a world title shot. And tells Pritchard to make it happen, and then for good measure, he spears Seidel. So Is that going to be a feud now? Like Lashley and Seidel? Is that a feud? It seems kind of one-sided, but they did. I mean, last year they tried to get a hell of a lot out of Lashley versus Eddie Edwards. So is Lashley just going to feud with Matt Seidel now? I don't know. I guess that would be one way to occupy Seidel while they're doing this Trevor Lee, Sanjay Dutt thing. I'm not sure how you can realistically have Seidel going over Lashley in any way, shape, or form, but I might have said the same thing about Eddie Edwards at one time. So who knows? It's a feud. It's a storyline. And God knows this show needs more of those. So, okay, let's see where they go with this. I didn't see it coming. It feels random, but it's something. It's new. So I'll take it. I will say, though, that this promo exchange seemed very confused about what it wanted to be. Like, we shifted gears very quickly here. So it kind of felt like it was trying to be a couple different things. So I'm not saying it was bad, but it felt awkward. The whole thing, how we switched from Pritchard and Seidel to Lashley and Pritchard to Lashley and Seidel very quickly. It felt clumsily executed to me. So after this, we have another match. It's a fatal four-way with EC3 versus Eli Drake versus Moose versus Eddie Edwards. Now, I was trying to figure out if there was anything at stake here. Are they fighting for a title shot? Are they, is there anything at stake at all? And I don't think there was. I think it was just a random match for the sake of having a random match. Again. So, Now, whether like the results are here are gonna like lead into anything in the future, who knows? So we get EC3 and Eli Drake trying to work together, and then it ends with Eli Drake stealing the pin from EC3 when I think Moose pulled him out of the ring. So, okay, Eli Drake gets over. Eli Drake gets the win in a match with some big guys, with EC3 and Moose. We get Eli Drake going over. I like that. It's a good win for Eli Drake, but again, there's nothing at stake here. It's just a random match. So is this going to lead to anything, is my question. It kind of seemed like EC3 was not happy about what Eli Drake did. So are they going to incorporate EC3 into this grand title, incorporate Eli Drake into this grand title situation, which is where EC3 is focused right now? Is it going to become a three-way feud or a four-way feud with Moose, EC3, Eli Drake, and Marufuji? I don't know. I wish there was more. We need more information. They're not good at explaining these types of things. But hey, Eli Drake won a match. And, Chris Adonis had nothing to do with it. No, Eli Drake won the match. He got over on EC3 and Moose and Eddie Edwards. Okay. That's a win for the namer of dummies, which he doesn't get nearly enough of. So that's something. And afterward, we get an attempted interview with the Swole Mates from that god-awful reality show that Impact are being forced to promote for Pop TV. And I kind of get the impression that Impact know this is really shit. Because these guys barely get 2 words out before LAX interrupt them and take all the attention for themselves. So it's kind of like, yeah, okay, we need to feature these guys, but this is awful, so let's put them on there and then immediately cut away to something else. Yeah, I think the Impact higher-ups know this Swole Mates thing is dumb. So anyway, LAX take the camera, so we're following LAX now. So they're marching through the backstage area to confront Alberto El Patron's brother and father again. And once again, I'm asking, where the fuck is Patron? He's still nowhere to be seen after they captured both of these guys, roughed them up and brought them to their clubhouse and threatened them. They've been doing this shit all night, and all night Patron is fucking nowhere to be seen. Where is he? You're making him look kind of suspicious in a bad way for not showing himself before now. I'm just saying. If you want this guy to be a fucking babyface, he's gotta have something to say about this. This is not well constructed. It's not. So, after the commercials, we got LAX in the ring. They've got Patron's father and his brother. And they proceed to beat Patron's brother with a kendo stick, and then they threaten to take Patron's dad's mask off, which is a big no-no in Mexico. And only then does Patron show up. And it's kind of funny, actually. He pulls a Barry Allen where he tries to talk to his enemies instead of just fighting them. Although, credit where it's due, this actually works out better for Patron than it ever has for Barry. He actually does get LAX to release his family. So he gets them to safety. Although I feel I must point out that this whole thing could have been easily avoided if he just left his family at home. Because he knows LAX have a problem with him. He knows LAX were probably going to target his family. Why not just leave them at home? Who knows? So he does get them to release his father and brother. Okay. All right. So he gets a point for that. And so they have a little bit of an exchange with Conan and Patron, and they're going back and forth a little bit, and Patron finally agrees, seemingly feeling like he has no choice. He has to do this to protect his family. He agrees to join LAX, puts the shirt on, shakes Conan's hand, and then grabs a kendo stick and immediately just destroys LAX. He just takes every single one of them out. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool beating, actually. But I'm having a lot of trouble with this. All right, first I'll say that the promo exchange itself between Patron and Konnan was very good. It was heated, it was emotional, but I'm not sure what the point is. What's the end game for all this? Is it Patron defending the world title against Konnan? Is it? Is it? Because I don't want to see that. Does anyone want to see that? I doubt it. I mean, is he going to get like a partner and challenge for the tag titles? I don't know. I mean, he's feuding with a tag team and its manager right now. So, what are our options? I don't know. But if we're assuming that it's not building up to Patron defending the world title against Konnan, what else can this be about? Either Patron joins LAX or doesn't join LAX. If he doesn't join, nothing changes. If he does join, then what? Then you've got the babyface stuck in a heel faction that he wants no part of angle, which is nothing new, and there isn't much you can do with that hasn't been done before. It just seems like there aren't a lot of places for this storyline to go. So, again, I ask, what's the end game? And that's a question I could ask about this whole show, to be honest. Impact right now feels very aimless, with no real direction other than building around a guy who's probably going to see his push come to a screeching halt once this domestic situation is resolved, and putting him in a main event feud against the manager of a tag team that has me really struggling to come up with any kind of satisfying payoff it could possibly have. And then we've got, all these random people from AAA and Noah and Crash all over the place. Actual storylines and angles are being discarded in favor of random matches done for no other reason than to fill time so the writers don't have to work too hard to actually write anything. And what few storylines they do bother to put out there are ranging from decent to just plain stupid. Can we try to make this show a little more interesting and cohesive and coherent, Impact writers? Please. All right. I got less than an hour before I got to leave for work, so let's breeze through this chat room really quickly, and then I got to get cleaned up and get dressed and stuff. Have you seen Schleg Daddy's challenge to you? I have not seen it yet. I have not. I know he reviewed Impact this week. I'm assuming that's where it is. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. Maybe I can do that tonight after I get home. When will you get a haircut again? I don't know. I was considering letting it grow really long again. Guess it all depends. When I start seeing stray hairs in my food, that's when I kind of put the brakes on and say, yeah, maybe it's time I cut that off. We'll see. Do you agree with Schleg Daddy's opinions on GFW having too many no-star names? He complains that GFW doesn't have any stars, so he's confused on who to root for. I believe there's too many people. You're both right. Too many no-star names? Yeah, they're bringing in just random people from AAA and Crash and Noah. We don't even know who these people are, and they're all over the show. Meanwhile, you've got genuine star power with guys like EC3 and guys who could have star power in like 5 seconds if you just fucking push them, like Eli Drake, and these guys are being completely marginalized right now. Where the hell is the fact? Where the hell is Eli Drake's push? Where's the fact of life? Where's his mic time? EC3, Eli Drake, these guys are two of the best talkers in the fucking industry, and they're seeing their screen time drastically reduced. So what? We can get a fucking mini division? So we can do like random AAA matches? Why? So yeah, you're both right. Okay. Do you think GFW will sign Austin Aries? I would welcome Austin Aries back with open arms. I don't know if that's what he's looking for right now, though. I think he's got some indie dates booked. Beyond that, who knows? Okay, how was Liz Allen, the daughter of Adrian Toombs, if her last name is Allen, not Toombs? I hated Homecoming with this video game suit. Asian hobgoblin prefers Peter's his best friend, Flash Indian, etc. Okay, yeah, I was confused about that too. Spider-Man Homecoming stuff here. I was wondering, how the hell can Liz Allen be the daughter of Adrian Toombs? Apparently, because it's not Liz Allen. All right, getting into spoiler territory for the movie here if you haven't seen it, but apparently it's the character that Laura Harrier is playing is Liz, but it's not Liz Allen. It's a different Liz created for the movie. So I guess it's Liz Toombs. Similar to how MJ is not Mary Jane Watson. It's a different MJ created just for the movie. I don't know why they did it like this. It kind of took me out of the movie a little bit, and I didn't understand it until after I saw the movie. It's like, wait, how the fuck? Because I thought it was Liz Allen. It's not. It's Liz, just a different Liz. Yeah, the race bending I didn't really have an issue with, because I don't. I mean, it's just Flash Thompson. It's not like he's a huge character or anything. What weirded me out more is that they kind of changed his character, so he's not a jock. He's like this cocky douchebag. He's also I guess it's some kind of like a special school for gifted kids, so they're all gifted, they're all academics or whatever. So Flash Thompson being an academic weirded me out more than that. But I don't know, Flash being an Indian now, I didn't really have an issue with it, you know. It's kind of the world we're living in now. Plus, Liz and MJ being ethnic, it's like, well, they're not Liz Allen and Mary Jane Watson anyway, so I didn't really care. Did you notice that the footage for Sammy Guevara's ring action was the match with Grado, which hadn't happened yet? Yeah, I did. It's like they're hyping up with footage that from a match that we haven't seen that isn't supposed to have taken place yet. It's like, whoa, Christ. Oh boy, I did notice. It's one of those things you just have to tilt your head at. Oh boy. I feel like GFW is all over the place. Too many people trying to showcase everyone by cramming them into tag matches reminds me of overbooking in 2010. Absolute fucking madness. Yeah. Like, there's... It's definitely a sense of we're trying to get as many people on the show as we can by just doing a bunch of random multi-man tag matches that don't mean anything. And it's all overkill. I mean, I'd like to see them focus on fewer people and giving them actually quality screen time that builds actual stars and angles and stuff. But instead they're just overcrowding the show with as many people as it can hold, and I don't. It doesn't work, in my opinion. Well, I say that knowing that viewership has actually been increasing for the last little while. I'm not sure how or why, to be honest with you. But it seems to be working for the moment, so I guess I don't have much of an argument, but I don't, in the long run, I don't know how effective this is going to be. Okay. Okay. There is no real need for this Grado LVN storyline. I'll put up with it if it leads to the return of Laurel Van Ness and she ditches the crazed Bridezilla thing. That's what I want to see come out of this. Maybe once Grado realizes that she's Canadian, which means that he can't become an American citizen by marrying her, and he dumps her, that will lead her to thinking, oh my god, I've hit rock bottom. What the hell am I doing? I gotta snap out of this. And then maybe we get the real Laurel Van Ness back. Because, wow. The scant handful of storylines we got going, and you give one of them to Grado. It's just, oh my god. I'm gonna wrap this up. I gotta leave soon. Multi-man matches overload. Yeah, definitely. Sienna LVN LA feud has gone on way too long. Well, I guess you'll be happy that the feud is probably transitioning into Sienna versus Gail Kim. I'm not. Okay, John. Okay, make this week John Morrison signed with GFW now. As far as I know, John Morrison or Johnny Mundo, or whatever we're calling him, as far as I know, he has not signed with them. He's doing some live events, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's been signed. I haven't heard any noise about him actually being signed, or Taya Valkyrie for that matter. For the record, I think Jennifer Blake is better. I'd prefer to have Jen Blake, but she doesn't appear to be in the cards at the moment. I don't think Taya Valkyrie's bad, though. I like her when I've seen her. Is there anything here I have to answer? Why not have Eddie's wife wrestle more often? I mean, at least that would be a new face in the division. Yeah, it is kind of strange that and they were featuring her. They were in this big feud with Davey and Eddie and Angelina, and that feud is over, and then suddenly they've got nothing for her. Maybe they would if there wasn't so much time being taken up by AAA dudes and minis and all that other stuff. So I got to pack a show full of random matches. So we got to take this potential star that we were actually trying to build up and just put her backstage in favor of doing a bunch of random matches that don't mean anything. But yeah, I mean, they could do something with her. But from now until Bound for Glory, which I think is in November, I think we know what the focus is going to be. It's going to be on Gail Kim, and none of the other knockouts are going to matter very much, most likely. So it's just going to be business as usual again until Gail retires. And again, I don't mean that as a criticism of Gail. I like Gail. I can't stand the way they book her at the expense of all the other knockouts. Because it can't be that way anymore. She's leaving. You got to focus on the future now. It's just... Okay. Johnny Mundo's signed. It says so on his Wikipedia page. Anybody can edit those things, right? Doesn't necessarily mean anything. If he admitted it, okay. I haven't seen that yet, though. When are they going to add some new knockouts to the roster? The division is super stale currently with the lack of new talents and lack of new feuds. Well, they have new talents. They're just not using them. They have girls like MJ Jenkins and Alicia Edwards and Diamante. They could use them. Well, Diamante is injured right now, but They could use Alicia and MJ, but they're not. Also, I don't know if you've heard, but they apparently have signed 2 new knockouts. And we don't know who they are yet, but if you go to the ImpactAsylum.net forums, in the comments section, we're trying to figure out who they are. We've had a number of hints that we're trying to narrow down who these women might be. And I'm a little stumped right now because most of the women I'm familiar with have already been ruled out. But we do have a number of hints. So actually, I can tell you what we've determined so far. Come on, don't have all day here. All right, there we go. So between things that JB has said and things that we've gleaned from Casey from SquaredCircleSirens.com, we've narrowed down the field considerably about who these 2 new girls might be. Here's what we know so far. Now, JB has said that these two women are known names. So they're girls who are pretty well established by now, which most likely rules out like another Ava Story type, like rookies or up-and-comers. So girls that are well established. Number 2, they're women who have not been on WWE TV. So no former divas, no Tough Enough contestants, no Mae Young Classic competitors. So also excluding people like Leva Bates and Santana Garrett who show up on NXT, every once in a while. We know they are women who are not from the Smash Wrestling promotion. So Casey Spinelli, Vanessa Craven, all those people, it's not any of them. We know that they are women who are often discussed in the ImpactAsylum.net forums. So you kind of know which names that refers to if you frequent that site. And we know that they are not anyone who has been in TNA Impact Wrestling GFW before or appeared on any of the Knockouts Knockdown pay-per-views. So it's not a returning knockout. It's not anyone that they've tried out in the past on TV or pay-per-view. So that rules out people like Veda Scott, Deanna Purrazzo, Taylor Hendricks, Sue Young, Shauna, the Owens twins, and so on. Casey has also ruled out Leah Vaughn, Lufisto, and Amber O'Neal, and he has said that both girls are under 30. So that eliminates Nevaeh, Nicole Matthews, Jennifer Blake, Madison Eagles, and so on. So that's what we know so far. So it kind of eliminates most of the girls I'm familiar with. I was kind of leaning towards Nevaeh and Nicole Matthews until we got the under 30 clue, so that they missed that mark by a little bit. So I don't know. We've narrowed down the field, so there's only certain women that it can be, but right now I'm kind of stumped. My current guess right now would be maybe Hania and Kelly Klein, but it's just a guess. So that's what we got right now. We're having kind of a pretty interesting discussion how we try to gain more clues out of Casey, who seems to be having some fun with us right now. But that's what we figured out so far. Okay. Damn, I gotta leave soon. Shit. Okay. Polaris and Blink look cool in that X-Men TV show, though. Sure, if you disregard the fact that Blink doesn't look like Blink and Polaris doesn't have green hair. Seems like this year is a struggling year until the new creative team understand and see who they believe they are good for them to push long term. They do not know EC3, Eli Drake, and others. Yeah. It kind of seems like they're not they came in not being terribly familiar with the current roster and are trying to just change it into something else that they want it to be. Hence why we're seeing this huge influx of talent from outside the company, but while the current roster is kind of languishing to a certain extent. I just think I don't agree with it. It's the wrong way to go, in my opinion. Didn't TNA say that LVN was American or no? Chelsea is separate. Chelsea has said in videos on the Impact Wrestling YouTube page that she is Canadian. She's said this on Impact YouTube and social media, so it's a thing now. I mean, they can't just disregard that. Netflix about to add a new movie to the anime Death Note that's set to release next month. Yeah, I've seen the trailers. I am very skeptical. Death Note is a slow-paced, long-form story told over, something like 30-plus episodes. I don't know how the hell you can adapt that in any kind of faithful way into a 2-hour movie. In like a series or a mini-series, sure, but as a movie, I don't know how that can be done. Also, from the trailers, I don't like this guy playing Light. That looks like real miscasting to me. I'll watch it, but I'm not optimistic about that movie turning out well. Okay. Polaris has green hair. From the promos I saw, it looked like she had black hair. Blink looks like the comics. Not really. She doesn't have purple. She doesn't have purple hair or like a magenta face or anything. Maybe if she does, it's like very, very light makeup. It's like she doesn't look like Blink at all. Maybe outside of maybe like some of the facial markings, but it just doesn't look like Blink to me. Why does it seem like Eli and Sienna have become so generic and watered down? Most likely because the new creative team doesn't understand their characters. And Blink has the facial markings, but she doesn't. It's more than that. She's got the magenta skin and like the purple hair and stuff. It doesn't look. I don't know. It's kind of look like they half-assed it with the makeup on her. I'm thinking probably one of the two new knockouts has to be Taya Valkyrie. That's what I was thinking before, but apparently it's two different people. Supposedly it is anyway. I'm not putting it past them. I think they might sign Taya Valkyrie anyway, but I think right now, at this moment in time, I think Taya's just working the live events, and the two new knockouts are other girls. And what do you think of the new Inhumans and Defenders trailer? Inhumans trailer looks better than the first one did. I'm still a little skeptical, but I want to see more. Defenders trailer was awesome. Looks like they fucking nailed that. I'm very excited for the Defenders. Very excited. And you know what, guys? That is going to have to be it because I gotta go. I gotta get dressed and I gotta hit the road. I got a bit of a commute, and apparently there's apparently 84 is really backed up, so I'm probably gonna have to leave early. So yeah, thanks for joining me. I will see you guys in a couple days. I might have to work again on Saturday, so who knows? Maybe push it to Sunday. Maybe we won't. Depends if I'm working in the afternoon or the morning or whatever. So we'll see. Follow me for Twitter at TheRealFK9 for updates. I will talk to you guys later. Have yourselves a great day. Thanks for joining me. I will see you guys, in a few days. Bye.